Top of the morning to you. Just going through the memo for this. Now the first question asks us to create an HTML file called template and a CSS file called style.
We can't see anything.
So you go to your folder and you create your two files. So we wanted a one called template.html, so we change it to an extension of HTML to tell it that it's a hypertext markup language, it's the language of the file. And we then also wanted a CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Now, so we got the two different files there. We were going to drag them and open them up in NetBeans. So we got them open to design. Now, the first thing that's going to ask is you just have to set up the basic constructs of an HTML file. Now, the basic constructs are quite simple. I'm pausing the video for this because, quite frankly, they don't want to. Once you've got your basic constructs there, you would always require a title. Every page requires a title. It's just to show what's at the top there. And remember, as you create a tag, close your tag. Now, to link to our style sheet, what is the easy way of linking to our style sheet?
Drag and drop.
Drag and drop. So literally, if I go to where I am at, I just drag it. Oh, hello, don't double click on it. Bad me. Drag it across into the location where you want it, and you want it inside the head, and it would automatically create the link for you. Now, title, this is going to be on, I can't even remember what the topic of this question paper was.
Cheese. It wasn't cheese.
It was noobs. Okay, now the next concept that we got there, the next question it says there, so we've got the HTML file, and it makes a note there that all formatting must be done in the style sheet, and obviously the HTML done in the HTML file. Now it says set up the structure, done. So now we're going to do the following: set up the table below. Now this is the part that I would like to perhaps be a little bit more go over a bit more. Now I like using Excel as this example because Excel is a good representation of a table, and it can kind of explain how to create a table in HTML quite nicely. Now if we look at what we created there, if I look at the question paper, I've got a table. Now the first thing here is, if you look at this, there are 3 columns in the table and there are 3 rows. Do you guys get that? Now 3 columns, 3 rows, which means that it's got borders like this. So if I go here and I say all borders, that is what there are 3 columns, 3 rows. Do you guys follow that? Now on the first cell, okay, so this is the table I want to create. I look at my table, I look at how many rows, how many columns, and then I go ahead and I code it. And that's what I suggest you all do, is you go table. Now I know I told you to do no formatting in here, but quite frankly this isn't the final product. This is just me wanting to have some form of something to refer to. Do you guys get that? So this just means, remember, as you open something, close it. So this just means I'm going to be able to see the table. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So there are, each row has, TD is your table cell, guys. TD is your table cell. And how many cells go in a row? 3. So in how many of these rows do I have? Because remember, TR is a row. I have 3. So I've literally created 1, 2, 3 rows with 3 cells in each row. So I save that, and if I go back and I open up my template.html now, you'll notice what do I have? I have a table which is
magical.
Now how that there alone is worth marks. I've created a table with the right number of rows, right number of columns. But now, like in Excel, we don't want it to exactly look like that. The first thing we want it to do is we want to merge and center, or just merge. I have to say the word center, I suppose. I just want to merge these 3 cells. So I want this cell here to be merged over those 3 columns. Do you get that? So in HTML, I say the same thing. In HTML, I go and I say, I want this cell A1, first row, first column, I want it to be merged, which is the attribute colspan, and then I say colspan is equal to 3. Now, do I need these other 2 TDs? No, because the first cell goes over 3 columns. Okay, so I've just saved that now, and I go back to my to viewing it, and you'll see if I refresh the page, bam, I've merged over 3 columns. Do you get that? Now, the next step that I've got to do is, if I now in Excel wanted to make this look like the picture that I have in my PDF, I need to merge, sorry, let me go back to the PDF. I need to merge the second cell on the second row over 2 rows. You work from the top left down, right? Down, right. So I want to merge this cell down 2 columns. Guys, if you're not sure, you're not talking. Now, so second row, second column merges down 2 rows. So if I go to my my coding, I want my second cell in my second row to have a row span of 2. And then because this one goes down to the third row, I can delete that cell because it already is coming down from the top. Does that make sense? So I delete that row. And then if once I save that, you'll notice there that now that I go back to my HTML file, bam. So we've now got the structure we need, don't we?
Yes.
Let me pause the video for questions. Hold on. I can't find my video. Damn it. Okay, yes. The width of the cells should be roughly as indicated. And the height of row 1 should be 250 pixels. The height of the whole entire thing should be 750 pixels, the width 95 pixels. But now, remember, HTML and the borders are shown. HTML should be done in the HTML file, but the formatting should be done in CSS. So I just did this purely at a matter of to get the table right. Step 1, get the table right. Step 2, do the formatting. So now we're worried about the formatting. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to get rid of these because I know my table's working fine, right? Goodbye, you shouldn't be in there. Okay, I am then going to say class is equal to main table because this is my main table. I'm then going to go class is equal to R1 because then I know it's my row 1. I'm then going to go class is equal to cell 1, row 1, and then I'm going to go here. And now this TD is the same as the TD on the right hand side, so I'm going to call this class. So I'm just giving them names that I can refer to them. So I know in my cascading style sheet I can refer to each of these TDs because I've got something that can link them. So I'm going to call this, I need to call it, because this is this cell here, 2 and 4, right? And it's 5 and 6. Actually, no, this PDF looks weird because it's not zoomed. No, it's not zoomed in. That's all the reason why. You see, it's dotted lines around the outside of both of them, so they are the same. It was just because when I was zoomed out, it didn't show the dotted. It showed it as something else. So if you take a look there, dotted lines, but when I was zoomed out, it looked like it was solid lines. So 2, 5, 4, and 6 all look the same. So I'm going to call them, give me a
Chicken.
chicken, okay, we'll call them chicken. We should actually keep to something more logical than that, but we're going to call it chicken. So I'm going to create it so that each of these chicken, 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 chicken. So now all of those are the same, so I've applied the same thing to them because I didn't specify colors or anything like that. Now, this is my main central part, so I'm going to call it class is equal to main, main cell. Okay, I'll then call this class is equal to R2 if I need to manipulate it. I don't even know if I need to, so this is row and this is row 3. Now, I don't even know if I need to manipulate those, but why not? I'm just going so I can know each cell I can refer to if I need to. And if I wanted to, I could actually make these separate. I could make this chicken, chicken, and this cow.
You mean beef, sir?
Chicken or beef, true. Okay, now, on the style sheet, we now can go and we can code this. So, first things with style sheets, you must remember, when I say table, I'm referring to every single table tag. When I say anything like A, I'm referring to any single A tag. But if I go dot, I'm referring to specifically the ones that I've associated with that class. Do you guys follow that? So in this case, I'm going to go main TBL, open curly brackets. So make sure you name it exactly like it says here. It is also case sensitive. So if you use a capital T here like I've done, you need to use a capital T here, otherwise it will not pick up the relations. And that's a common mistake done. Do you follow? Okay. Now, on from there, we're going to main TBL, What do we want the main table? First, we want the width to be.
700.
It was 95 pixels.
95.
95%. Sorry. The height was 750 pixels. Because I'm recording this on a slightly smaller screen, okay. Let me just do it correctly, and then you'll notice that it won't fit on there. We wanted that to be 750 pixels. And was anything else stipulated as far as the whole table is concerned? The width should be roughly as indicators. The borders should be that. Blah blah blah. Okay. So the borders are shown, but the borders are specific to each cell. So let's rather just leave that for now. Sorry, excuse my sniffing. Now, question the borders. So let's take a look at the borders. So row 1. So we're done with this for now. Dot R1. What should be the height of R1? Okay, guys, all I'm doing now is I'm following each step down there. I'm not going to record all of this. I'm just going to follow each step. Okay, so cell 1 of the row 1 looks like it's got a double line. Hello. So it's a double line around row 1. So we'll then need to make sure that the border... Now remember, for a border, it needs a couple of things. It needs what type of border. In this case, we're going to make double. It needs a color, and it needs a thickness. So I've just made up those 4 things. I now look at 2, 3. The chicken and the cows have dots made. Is I put the border of the row 1 into C1 into R1, which is the row, and row is not actually an entity. It's I should have placed it into the cell the border, and then when we go to the actual noobs page, bam, and it looks like we wanted it to. The only thing is technically we might not want this to have a dotted line on the top, but this is what we wanted. Okay, you guys get that? For your guys' test, I will do it in HTML so it'll look exactly like it should. Okay, just to make sure that there's no dotted line issues there. Now, in this central area here, oh, sorry, we must go back to the question paper. I'm moving. Next question says, in cell C1, add the text noob to a heading tag, and it must be a line center, color maroon, a large size, and have a yellow background. Cool. We've added the header tag to our first cell, and we put the text noob into it. Now we want to format it as it's asked us to. Now remember, this is now we're manipulating the tag. We're not manipulating a property or a class. We're not using a class. We're just manipulating a whole entire tag called header. So I just refer to header. Okay, so we're going to say here, firstly, I'm going to make the width of this 100%, 100 VH. What is VH? Sorry. And HW, WH, window height, HW. What is it? View pane. It's VH. View W, VW, view. This is in a cell. I've used percentage, so it's taking up that percentage of the cell. I wanted a background color of what? Yellow. And what else did I want? Text dash align to be center, and I want text dash color. Oh, it doesn't come up like that, which I think is just color.
Yeah.
To be maroon.
Red.
Cool. Now, if I save that, and let's take a look at what it looks like. F5, get yellow, and the word noobs there, very, very small.
In red.
And I think I wanted it to be font size large. Well, the background's yellow. Oh, on my screen it is anyway. Okay,
That's nasty.
does look a bit nasty. Alright, so now, what are we going to do? To have a text size of large, right?
Yeah.
So text dash size, was it just font size? And ask me for large. Now, one thing that I might be able to do, which just bear with me on this, is at the moment, if you go here F5, large is not very big. Even though it doesn't look great, what I specified in the question paper is that of a large size. So if I said size large, 100%. But I'm going to just make it look prettier just because I can, might as well for this video. And the one way I'm going to do that is to align it so it's more central on this pane. Okay, so we messed around with the cell, and we moved the color to the cell because it works better inside the cell. And we changed the percentage so that the header didn't take up the whole full percentage. We didn't need it to. Alright, next question. Just hold on. An image, put your home picture, make it link, find another image, put it as noob, and make it link. Remember, good practice when you save your images is to save it inside an images folder inside where you're working with. So in my case, I'm doing it under the HTML memo for practice test. You create a folder inside the folder where you're creating it called images. You would then save that in here. I'm going to call this home.png, and make sure you keep to the same casing because casing is an issue. Okay, so I've saved the images to the folder that I want, and now we've got to actually add them to the locations we want. So the first, now I'm going to read ahead on this question because this question says we also want those images to link, don't we? So inside cell number 2, which is this one here, we wanted an image, but we want that image to link. How do I link? I use href, and I say where I wanted to link it to, and I wanted it to link to index.html. So I link it, enter, I then add the image to the center of the cell, which is the image tag. Okay, now just please remember that I'm actually going to do it the order that I asked it, because quite frankly you might do it that order. So image, and you would say image source.
Do you mind if I write image up?
No, that's not referring. And then you can use Control Spacebar to articulate it. And then it is always suggested you use the Alt character when you do pictures. Home. Okay, so then this would have created the picture, and then to add the other picture, same thing. You would literally just go img. Now shortcut src equals, and then you go images, control spacebar is your friend, noob, alt is equal to noob. Now, next question asks us to link this. To link this, remember you just enclose it inside an A tag, which will refer you add an href to the A tag, and you enclose this whole thing inside that A tag. Do you guys follow that? Then this would then link to index.html. Index.html doesn't exist yet, but that's fine. No issue. Do you guys get that? Understand that? It's basically, it doesn't exist, but it doesn't matter.
So in the test, we never just do that.
Well, the thing is in a test, it's always a good idea to keep your indents working. Okay, so let's check if this has worked. We go to our noob, not this noob, they're noobs. F5. Whoa! Whoa! It's gone pear-shaped because my pictures are too large. You fix this in 2 ways. If this is the only place you are using the image, you would resize your image to suit the pane that you've got. Because you don't, no need to make the user download this fancy big large picture when you're only displaying it yay big. It's useless, right? So what you could do is you could resize it. Do you guys know how to resize the images? Okay, to resize, I use something called the Fast Stone. Now, Fast Stone is an image viewer. You would browse to where the image was. To the images that you've got, you would select both images. You would go Tools, Batch Convert Selected File. After you go Batch Select, so, and this is a free software, you would then choose advanced options to resize. And you can stipulate you want it exactly to be, let's say, a width of 200 pixels by a height of 200 pixels. So we're going to make both of these exactly square. We go OK. You can choose to rename them, or you can choose to put them into a different output folder. There's a lot of things you can do in Batch. You just go Convert. And in this case, it's overridden both of them. I think it should have at least. Oh, it's called home.jpg. I converted them to JPEGs. Damn it. Yeah. Now, so if I go back here, then I'll then go and refer to the JPEG versions, which should be smaller. I'll get to your question now. Just give me a second. And then when I go back to my actual, nope, not that. I'm going back to my noobs folder, F5. That's better. Except this shouldn't have been here. It should have been here. I put it in the wrong cell.
That's fine.
So
Okay, and then now.
From 2 years ago.
Now, so this image should have been in this cell. I know, my bad.
I still remember what it stands for.
Okay, so that's that question answered. We've got images just below each other the way that we want it. We got it so when we clicked on that, it would take us there. We didn't add this here. I linked it. Now it's asking for section tags with the width of 500 and 300. The tag should have an inset border. So now we're going to do this. First things, I'm just going to work in a slightly different order this time. Section tag should have a border of inset, and it'll be size, let's say black, and it will be size 4 pixels. The next thing it asked me is we wanted to have a width of, what was the width that I wanted? Anyone remember? It wanted a width of 500 pixels, and it wanted a height of, what was the height? 300 pixels, and that was it. And it wanted 3 of them, no, sorry, 2 in cell 3. So in cell 3, which goes cell 1, cell 2, cell 3 is this one here, the main cell, and it wants 2 sections in here, so section, of course we've got 2 sections in there. Happy birthday, that question answered. Cell 4, place the following bullets: gaming and tech work. Okay, so cell 4 is this tag here is cell 4. It wanted bullets. A bullet is UL. What does UL stand for? Unordered list. And it wanted 1, which is gaming. And what was the other one? Work. Okay. So then we got work. Control save. And the next question states in cell C6, add text saying author your full name. So in cell, the last one, we're going to say, we don't even have to put in a tag, it just asks us to say the author, full colon, your name. Save. I'm going to make this author just be bold just because I can. I think it would look nice. Call those B. So I made the border bold. Let's check if that last part's worked. Because technically my knowledge is also on. Anyway, not the point. So now for F5 this, let's check what we've done. Okay, sweet. So far we've got 2 cells in there. That's quite cool. And it should be so when I maximize it. Oh. Yeah. But you know what? Potential guys. Hey, created these section tags, and this is what the advantage of reading is. It said these tags should be blocks with an inset border. So I didn't read my question properly. So in other words, RTFQ, yes. So I should have read the question. So note to self read question. If I go to the style sheet, the section tag should be a display of a block, and I think that will allow the item now when it's maximized. No, it doesn't. But it might also be because the width of this is not quite well enough. Okay. This wasn't asked, but if I say now float and I say next, it just means it will float would follow whatever comes before it. And then in which case, now F5, if it was not big enough, it should then just pop next to it. My guess is. I'm not actually familiar with float yet. I need to get more familiar with float. Okay, it doesn't work.
So try and change your width. Maybe
It's the inline block that actually allows it to just construct so it will pop next to it if it needs to. So I'm going to change the width of this to 500, so back to the way it should be. And then in my, so thank you David for finding that. So now if you go down, it'll then pop below each other when it's not got enough space. So inline block is what I was looking for, rather than the float. So float allows it to not move if something else moving. So you guys check that?
Yeah.
Sweet. Mr. Brad. Boom.